Thank you so much. I thank you so much. It's such, can you hear me? It is such a pleasure to hardly get from the middle of the room to the podium. So thank you for all coming here and making this such a special night. The video was a very important piece in our tool chest to explain a little bit more about who we think is doing the standard of care, the Gold Foundation way. So, I agree with you. So I say hello to this overflowing room, all of whom are friends of humanism and medicine, or about to become one. You know, Arnold established the Gold Foundation in one day. And it's hard for me to believe that it's 30 days later. Is it 30 days later? Okay. It passed in a flash. 30 years of hard work, which brought at least one Arnold P. Gold Foundation program to every school in this nation, every medical school. And yesterday I was at Columbia, and a doctor friend told me that he witnessed a white coat ceremony in Beirut, and we have about 17 other countries. I don't know for sure what's the number. Carrie Ford, she knows everything, she'll tell me. Yesterday was a day that showed me how much we have to celebrate, because we're having an impact not only here, but in other places in the world. My heartfelt thanks go to the Goldman family, Katja and Michael and Dorian and Marvin and Lloyd and Vicki, for that great video, and for the others who were so helpful in allowing us to create what we think will be a great help in explaining our mission. My congratulations also to our honorees, two men with whom Arnold felt a very special bond, and that's an amazing coincidence. He felt very, very close to Darrell Kirsch, who's the president and CEO of the American Association of American Medical Colleges, and grateful for the partnership with the AAMC that began when Jordan Cohn was its president. Dr. Kirsch actually changed his schedule when he suddenly learned that Arnold had passed in January, and he came to New Jersey to deliver a eulogy. It was Arnold's wish, his chosen wish, that he be there if he could. Arnold always felt that the relationship with Jordan, Darrell, and the AAMC, along with his partnership with the deans at the New Vagelos, Columbia University, I hope I get this right, Vagelos, Columbia University College of Physicians and Surgeons. I'll get corrected, don't worry about it. If it's wrong, I'll hear from you. Anyway, because he felt, and so do I, that our relationship with those two institutions is what contributed mightily to the successes of the Arnold P. Gold Foundation. Alan Alda, you've been a very real part. Where is Alan? Someplace close by. You have been, yes. Unwittingly and unknowingly, I'm sure, you've been a very real part of Arnold's life since you delivered a commencement address at Columbia University College of Physicians and Surgeons in 1979. Years later, I think there's a bush in the way, but I see you a little bit. Because I'm talking to you. You want to come up? Years later, after establishing the white coat ceremony, Arnold ended every speech that he made at a white coat ceremony to the entering students by quoting the following parting admonition from you that you made in that commencement address. And this is what Arnold used to say, and I quote it. And last, and he'd always put it last just as you did, Arnold would say, quote, in the words of that eminent physician, and the students would wonder who he's talking about. And then he would say, Hawkeye from the TV show MASH. And then Arnold would continue with your quote. And you said, quote, I hope you will always remember this. The head bone is connected to the heart bone, and don't ever let them come apart. Now, yes, Arnold didn't quote William Osler. He quoted Alan Alda. Year after year. You two honorees were admired and appreciated by Arnold for your personal warmth, your leadership, and your passion for compassion and communication. It is so fitting that the three of you, Alan and Daryl and Arnold, are sharing the tributes this evening. Several times I've been asked what I see as the most formidable future challenge for the Arnold P. Gold Foundation. Before answering that question, I want to draw upon the lessons I learned from living with Arnold Gold for 49 and a half years. I don't know, it seemed like a flash, like the 30s. He was the exemplar of optimism and positivism, and I was his able and slightly more objective student. Arnold would most usually focus on the sunny side of life, people, and situations. When talking about tonight's event, he would probably have spoken about 30 great years. That's just how he said it. Not plain old 30 years. Even when gravely ill in the hospital just prior to his death, if questioned, Arnold would still say, the world is great. Whenever I suggested that Cinderella had a better childhood than he had had, he looked at me as if I were crazy, even though when he was sent to Galveston, Texas as a 13-year-old alone, who recently had suffered the sudden death of his much-loved father, his mom's parting words to him as he boarded the train to St. Louis, where he would be spending the night on a bench in the old Union Station until the train to Texas arrived the next morning. Her words were, and don't call me, we can't afford it, write letters. Even though the aunt, you heard about her, the divorced wife of an uncle, the aunt in whose home he lived served different food for dinner to her two sons than she did to Arnold, even though as a 15-year-old matriculating at the University of Texas in Austin, he had to hold down 3 jobs, he always corrected me and insisted that he had had a wonderful childhood. Having now confessed that by nature, Arnold and I tend to be optimistic, I can speak to you about what Arnold and I were and are concerned about regarding the future of the APGF. First, thanks to the many people here tonight. The Arnold P. Gold Foundation has accomplished much toward implementing a gold standard of humanistic care in health care. And I thank you. And it's been a long road together for many of us, and I and Arnold often spoke about each of you, and we hold you all very close to our hearts. So I thank you, but due to forces both within and outside of medicine, if I could turn the page, You see, Arnold was so smart, he would always put on the bottom of the page the first line of the other page in case that happened. The work of spreading the impact of humanism is even more needed now in 2018 than it was in 1988. It's a sad thing. That's when we incorporated the foundation. And much about humanism remains to address. Do you remember a centuries-old proverb that went back before it appeared in Ben Franklin's Poor Man's Almanac? And it goes like this: for want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For want of a shoe, the horse was lost. For want of a horse, the rider was lost. For want of a rider, the message was lost. For want of a message, the battle was lost. For want of a battle, the kingdom was lost. And all for the want of a horseshoe nail. The Arnold P. Gold Foundation is poised to continue its battle for the heart and soul of medicine. Currently, it has enthusiastic, hardworking, talented, and devoted lay leadership and staff, excellent and strategic programs, and the encouragement of healthcare educators and clinicians yearning to take responsible, respectful, and loving care, yes, loving care of their patients. And now, as you heard, we have outstanding corporations that have embraced our mission. Obtaining adequate finance, go ahead, that's a good idea. Obtaining adequate financial support remains the crucial barrier to humanism in medicine, which we continue to face. For want of a nail, the war was lost. Remember, we began our work with $0 in the bank. Though Arnold resisted using his name for the new foundation, the board insisted it bear his name, and he ultimately relented. His name was our only treasure at the time, and with it, the Arnold P. Gold Foundation is still successfully changing the culture of medicine. But it's not enough anymore. With you at our side, we will continue to seek to ensure that every patient in every healthcare experience receives compassionate, clinically excellent care. And I hear every day someone who tells me that they receive other than that. And as Arnold always said, if you're receiving care that is not humanistic, it is, by its very own definition, suboptimal. Help us to make sure that for want of resources, we don't lose this war. We need both your continued leadership and support, plus we need to expand our loyal family of donors. Thanks for a successful past, and here's to an amazing future.